Okay, back to the White House, where you can see earlier President Donald Trump just wrapped taking questions from a lot of reporters about a lot of different issues. Top topic, though, the war in Iran. Here's what the president had to say on that.
They have been literally obliterated. The Air Force is gone. The Navy is gone. Many ships have been sunk. They're war-fighting ships, but I guess they didn't know how to use them. And anti-aircraft is decimated, their radar is gone, and their leaders are gone. Other than that, they're doing quite well. They've been a terror for 47 years, and now I guess the world, through the United States, with the help of Israel, is doing what should have been done many years ago.
CBS News senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe joins us now. So, Ed, what stood out to you from the president as you look at the top lines?
Reed, good to be with you. Look, the big item there that appeared to really irk the president is the fact that he is struggling to convince other countries, so far at least, to join the United States in reopening and protecting ships that pass through the Strait of Hormuz. We've seen today the Germans, Japanese, Italians, and Australians signal that at least for now they have no plans to participate in any such missions. But the president himself was suggesting that several of those countries should be participating given how much of their oil comes from that region. He said, we strongly encourage other nations whose economies depend on the strait far more than ours. He claims the United States only gets about 1% of its oil from that part of the world, where Japan gets 95%, China gets 90%, South Korea 35%. We want them to come and help us with the strait. We have it in very good shape. But then in the next breath, he suggests, well, you know, we're the strongest nation on earth anyway. We don't need their help. The reality is, as he's expressed it, as military leaders have said, as these other world leaders have telegraphed, the United States is seeking their assistance. There's a need for vessels that could protect those vessels moving petroleum out of that area, and it would require a great amount of coordination and far more supply than is currently available to attempt to do that. So that appears to be perhaps the biggest sticking point right now, at least when it comes to the war. This is coming as the president was holding a meeting on one of his other focuses as he continues to prosecute the war, and that is the ongoing renovation over at the Kennedy Center. This is an official board meeting of that institution, of that location. And they are making some of the changes that had been announced in recent days regarding renovations, regarding who exactly is in charge of it, as about a 2-year renovation project is now underway.
The other thing that stood out to me, Ed, is the president talking about the new supreme leader of Iran, even at one point telling a world audience that the United States doesn't even really know who they're negotiating with. Do you get a sense, not only from the president, but also the vice president, Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, that they're wanting this guy to come out of the shadows to show his face, almost sort of like goading him on?
That, and they want to discount his legitimacy on the world stage by raising questions about who he is, whether or not he's in full tip-top physical shape to run the country, or if he's in hiding. There have been other reports about his personal life that have surfaced in the last day or so. All of it appears to be designed to either humiliate or delegitimize him in the eyes of the world, especially in that region, but also, as you said, to try to draw him out and see if he will address on camera not only the Iranian people, but the rest of the world, and give some sense of a status update. Remember, yesterday the foreign minister, in an interview on Face the Nation, signaled that Iran sees no need to talk to the United States because these attacks continue.
Right.
But clearly the White House is eager to see whether he comes out himself and says such things.
Now, also the other headline that comes out of this exchange that we just watched on live television, of course, we saw President Trump sitting with Susie Wiles to his left. He had some breaking news about her health condition. What is that?
Just before this event began, Reed, he announced that the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, is in the early stages of fighting breast cancer. And during his remarks, the White House issued a statement on her behalf, and she said that she was diagnosed in the past week. She says nearly 1 in 8 women in the United States will face this diagnosis. Every day, these women continue to raise their families, go to work, and serve their communities with strength and determination. I now join their ranks. I am grateful to have an outstanding team of doctors who detected the cancer early and are guiding my care, and I am encouraged by a strong prognosis. I'm also deeply thankful for the support and encouragement of President Trump as I undergo treatment and continue serving in my role as White House Chief of Staff. We should point out the press secretary, other administration officials, cabinet secretaries, lawmakers, very quick to express statements of support and concern for Susie Wiles, who remains his trusted advisor, runs this West Wing. Most of those that work here owe their careers and their current service to having worked with her on the campaign or in Florida in the past, and obviously we extend our best wishes to her as well. But as she says in her statement, as the president signaled, it's early, they caught it early, and she intends to stay on the job. But remember, Reed, this is a grueling job, often 90-hour work weeks, if that, at all hours of the day, dealing with all sorts of issues. As the president exhibited himself there, talking about everything from Kennedy Center renovations to the status of the balance of power in Congress to, of course, the most urgent, the war in Iran.
We remember what the president had to say on election night about Susie Wiles. She is tough as nails, and that diagnosis transcends all politics. I join you in wishing her well and a speedy recovery. Ed O'Keefe, thank you so much.